Hey, so I made a comment talking about this on a young lady, not even Emily's videos, her video on why periods suck or something like that. And I left the comment that I buy the tampons and the pads and all for the ladies at work, and I do that every month. And I got a lot more attention from that comment than I expected, so I figured I'd make a video explaining exactly why. Okay, so the first thing for the men watching is what exactly is a menstrual cycle and how does it work? See, humans are some of the few mammals on the planet that have a menstrual cycle. Most mammals don't, but in exchange for that, they can only mate once a year. They have a mating season. Humans don't have a mating season. They can mate whenever they want. That's why you can have people who have birthdays in November and birthdays in July. We don't have a mating season. But in exchange for that, every single month, the female's body prepares itself to become pregnant. And in female, I mean biologically female. So if you are a trans man, I believe it is, if you're biologically woman but identify as man, I think that's trans man, you would also have periods. If you have a uterus, this will happen. Every month, the uterus prepares to become pregnant. And along with hormonal changes that aren't nearly as severe as a lot of men will lead you to believe. They're not that severe. What really happens is an agonizing pain. You see, the uterine lining literally thickens in the womb, like inside the body, and when it thickens, it also pushes pressure on the rest of the body. It hurts like hell. And when it thickens like that, the capillaries on the edge there, they become closer to the edge, and so it bleeds. The same way as your nose can bleed when it's very dry and cold outside, or even if it's dry and hot outside. You didn't pick your nose, you didn't scrape anything, it just started to bleed because the blood vessels get too close to the skin. It's the same idea. Except there's no skin there, but you get the general gist. The blood vessels get very close and they bleed. That's what happens. It's totally natural. And so these soak that up. Now, the reason I buy them, as a man who doesn't, I'm technically agendered, but I was born biologically mostly male. I'm intersex, but for all intents and purposes, I was born male. I have male anatomy. A couple parts of my body are female, like one of my eyes, one of my arms is, and my pelvic bones. But other than that, I'm a chimera. We'll get into that later on. But I don't need these. Never have. Probably never will, I'd imagine. But the reason I buy them is because, you see, clothes, maybe not shoes, but clothes, for the most part, food, water, these things are generally considered necessities, right? You don't choose to need them, you just need them. They're not taxed for that reason. They're not taxed for that reason. So why are tampons and pads taxed? I'm pretty sure if there was a choice in the matter, most women would choose not to be in agonizing pain. And when I say agonizing pain, I mean it's crippling. The fact that these women can manage to still be able to do the same jobs as us in that level of pain is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I mean, I'm going to picture it like this, okay, for us men out there. Let me explain to you what the pain is like. Imagine if a professional soccer player kicked you square in the balls for about 2 weeks every month and did that for about 40 years. 2 weeks out of every month, a professional soccer, and there's no way you can stop it. Don't say, "Oh, I just dodged it, I just blocked it." No, imagine you couldn't block it. You didn't know it was coming. Boom, right in the nuts every single day. 2 weeks out of every month for 40 years. Imagine that. And that's what they go for. And it's not just a light kick in the ball. I mean, I'm talking like, imagine they were trying to kick a soccer ball all the way across the field. That level of kick. Boom, right in the nuts. Now imagine you had to go through that kind of pain and then still do your job. This is what they deal with. So why is there a luxury tax on these, right? They don't, it's not a luxury, trust me. It's definitely not. Like the Midol that I also pick up, I can expect there to be a luxury tax. It is a medication. But, you don't, this isn't a luxury. This shouldn't have to deal with this. Yeah, it's a real luxury for me to be in agonizing pain and embarrassingly bleed all the time. So, the other issue is a lot of the people I work with are single mothers. Or they're caretakers, or, they just don't make the money that they can afford to spend, all this money in here. Like, this is expensive. This was, let's see, 14 here. That's 14 plus another 6. That's $20. This is about enough to last a month for this. It's $20. Now $20 to me isn't much at all. I blow my nose with $20. But $20 for some of these women can be the difference between eating this week or not. They should not have to choose whether or not they eat this week, or they take care of their sanitary needs. This is why I do this. Like, I'm trying to think of how, I'm trying to say, imagine if, but I'm like trying to think of something that there's really nothing you can really compare it to with us. I don't know. Imagine if your nice pair of Jordans, imagine if these only lasted a couple weeks. Like, they would literally just degrade to the point where you couldn't wear them, and you had to spend that $200 every single week, or every single month, if you wanted to keep wearing them. That's the closest I can get, and you don't even need these. Hell, you could just get some regular old boots, and you'd be just fine. And I'm trying to explain something like, imagine if you need them, like, I guess food is the closest thing you can think about for us men, because we need it to live, and it doesn't last long. You know your food bill, even if you're a single guy living alone. I'm a single guy. My food bill is, well, I'm a very thin guy with a very high metabolism, so my food bill is actually almost $100 to $200 a week. But even if you have your normal metabolism, it's probably, for a single guy living alone, $60, $70, $80, right? That lasts you about the week, maybe, right? So you can see, imagine if you didn't have to pay for that. Imagine if somebody would buy your food budget for you every week. Some nice man or woman paid your entire food bill. Think of all the money you'd be able to use on, other things that were important, right? So a lot of them, they have kids, sometimes 3 and 4 kids, and dad's not around for whatever reason. Sometimes the dad's just a deadbeat dad. Other times they die. They're literally just dead. And that's $20-$30 that they don't have, because I mean, some of these, they're cashiers. They make like $9-$10 an hour at maximum. And with 3 or 4 kids, $9-$10 an hour, 30-hour week, that's not gonna buy peanuts. You couldn't buy diapers with that, or for 3 or 4 kids with that kind of. So that's why I take care of it, and it's usually every month. Last a couple months ago, I did like $60, so I didn't really have to worry about it for another couple months. But the other thing is they're just there in case, because normally women will keep one in their purse or something like that. But sometimes, you forget to keep one in your purse, or it gets ruined by something else in your purse, and you're SOL. So these are there in case they need them. Then I keep the Midol in there as well, because that helps with some of the pain and other issues. But yeah, that's just the reason I do it. And I'm not telling you, the men out there watching this, I'm not telling you that you have to do this either. I'm saying it will be very much appreciated. And especially if your bosses are female, I'm not saying you can take advantage of the situation entirely. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you could probably get away with shit that would probably get anyone else fired. If not fired, definitely written up. I've literally been caught sitting around playing on my phone and was not written up for it. I'm just saying, if I do it out of altruism, even if you weren't doing it out of altruism, perhaps if you have the money, think about doing it for the simple fact that things that you would normally get written up for, you may not be written up for. Like I said, I do it because of the fact that I did not realize that was taxed the way that it was, and that they were deliberately made that expensive. Because I don't buy the cheap stuff either. They supply them at work, but they're like the cheap, cardboard ones. And would you stick a cardboard tube up your butthole as a man? That would really, yeah, right? Now imagine that, but like, this is the organ you use most of the day. I wouldn't stick a cardboard tube there. These are the good ones. So I buy those because honestly, I don't like the quality of the cheap ones that the store supplies. So yeah, I just wanted to explain away why I do what I do.